Hello, everybody. My name is Ron Megaron, and this is Just a Little Guy, a podcast in which I collaborate with some of my favorite folks from around the world to whip up a brand new batch of beasties for all your creative needs. Our guest this week is a former English professor and current video essayist on YouTube. When she isn't impressing her friends with her extensive collection of books and poetry, you can find her watching birds, spoiling her pets, and discussing the Warrior Cats books with her friends on the Only Warrior Cats podcast. She plays the artificer Timtam Butterball on the monthly D&D show What's Left of Us. Please welcome to the show, Zoe Bee. Hey, Zoe.
Hi, happy to be here.
Happy to have you. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. I am excited to make some monsters today.
I am also excited to make some monsters. So really quick, just before we get started, like, you obviously play D&D and like other tabletop games and whatnot. And I know that you play as a player, but do you ever play as a DM?
I have before. I've only run a couple of one-shots, but I love DMing. I just don't have a ton of experience with it. But a couple times. I've done it a couple times.
I got you. When you set up like your games and stuff like that, do you plan the encounters first, or do you like just pick what monster you want to use before you kind of go down that route?
That's a good question. I've done a little bit of both, actually. Like, there was this one shot that I ran for my friends when I was in grad school, because none of them had ever played D&D before, and so I wanted to share it with them. And they were in this like lumber town that I created. That, you know, like the whole bloodline of the city is just this like lumber industry. And I was like, you know what? I think this is like the perfect location. I've always wanted to use what's called what are they called? They're like these little like blight creatures that are basically these like little tree people. There's like pine blights or needle blights and tendril blights, vine blights. I don't know, something blights, and they're really cool.
It looks like tree blights is a thing.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, they're the cutest, and I just love like plant people, and so I definitely had those in mind. But then I was like, you know, like I feel like there has to be something else in these woods. What can I fit in there? And so it was just the usual, you know, wolves, spiders, you know, D&D shit. I'm sorry, are we allowed to cuss on this show?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
You can swear to your heart's content.
Perfect.
I told this story in the last episode, but basically when I was setting it up with Jay, I had it set to clean, and then I recorded the episode, and I was like, nah, I'm going to put it to explicit just in case.
Yeah, probably good.
Yeah, I mean, we're all adults here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a kid listening to this, then
don't.
Frankly, you're probably not. Yeah, you're probably not supposed to be. Or else you hear this all the time, in which case it's not really that shocking to you.
Yeah, I was a high schooler once. I know how you guys talk.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not a high schooler, if you're a middle schooler, don't listen to this. Don't listen to this.
Do your math homework, or English, or whatever it is. Have a bright future so you don't have to become a podcaster.
Oh, ouch.
My next question, I guess, is do you design for what scares you when you're doing like encounters?
Yes, a little bit. So it's either, it goes one of two directions. Either it's what I think is really cute and cool, like with the little wood blights, or it's what scares me, because I don't know, I'm really into like horror stuff. Like the first videos on my channel are about H.P. Lovecraft, and like I love that sort of like psychological existential horror. I'm not one for like scary movies because I'm a coward, but I do like, I don't know, I like spooky stuff.
I'm a coward, but boy howdy, you put something that's beyond comprehension like in front of me, and I could do that all day.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I love reading horror and I love thinking about horror. I don't like seeing it. I don't like
That's
it
fair.
when it can jump out at me like movies.
Yeah. So like you've read well, I don't know if it's actually like what the story is called, but like The Color Out of Space. Is that what it is?
Yep.
But you haven't seen like the Nicolas Cage adaptation.
Correct.
Probably.
I've heard it's really good, but I thought
it was pretty all right. Yeah, yeah. So it's no secret that a big part of your background is that you grew up in West Virginia and that you're pretty well versed in like Appalachian culture. And, you know, some of your most popular videos early on were about Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah.
So which monsters were the most formative to young Zoe's imagination?
Oh, goodness. Well, I guess it depends on how you define monster. And this is maybe,
All right.
I don't know, sort of, I guess, similar to what I mentioned earlier, where I love things that are cute, but also things that are horrifyingly frightening. I find horrifyingly frightening things cute sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, some things that people might call a monster, I would not. Like, for instance, West Virginia represent Mothman. I fucking love Mothman. Mothman is the coolest. He's so cool. And he is a little bit scary, and I think people are scared of him, but I don't know that I'd call him a monster.
That's fair.
I mean, he is a monster with like a capital M, but I wouldn't say that he himself is monstrous, if I'm allowed to make that distinction.
I think that is a bit of a distinction there, yeah, because like even though he only shows up when something bad's gonna happen, like he's not necessarily.
You wouldn't say that about EMTs. You wouldn't say EMTs are monsters.
Oh, that's a good point. But what if they were emergency monster transportation?
Okay, that's perfect. That needs to be a thing.
Okay,
we need to make like a shitty AMC show or TNT show.
It's just like the last part of the Twilight Zone movie, except over and over again. And people just keep getting into these ambulances. They don't know why.
That's so good.
Yeah, that could be one of the ones that we do actually. You know, if you want to start out there, just like we got a monster that lures people into the back of an ambulance. What does it look like?
Oh, well, does it lure things into the back of the ambulance? Because I imagine that it itself was the ambulance. I was thinking it was very like, you know, My Neighbor Totoro cat bus kind of vibes. That like the monster
cool.
It just looks like an ambulance. And so people are like, oh, the ambulance is here. We're saved. Just kidding.
Those doors have teeth.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is a... Oh, shoot. What is the Stephen King one about the car?
Christine.
Yeah, that's the one. I kept wanting to say Herbie, but that's the other car.
Herbie, yes. Oh man, Herbie. Let me tell you, that car was murderous. Really killed Lindsay Lohan's career.
Oof.
All right, that's several episodes now where I've said something to the effect of like that could potentially get me, you know, controversy.
Is it controversial?
I don't think so, really, but I'm going to pretend like it is so that more people will be interested in the show.
We're talking about hot button issues like Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah. I also made an episode that's going to come out in 2 weeks where we discuss Colleen Ballinger, so that's going to be really fresh in 2 weeks. Yes.
People are still talking about her.
Does it have any unique markings, do you think?
I think outside of the ambulance like look yeah, I mean it definitely has. So I guess what is the deal with like the lights? Like is it bioluminescent, or are the lights its eyes and it has the sort of like cat like thing where its eyes like reflect lights, and so people think that they're actually like luminous but they're just reflecting light?
I was kind of thinking the eyes thing. I think that's really an interesting idea.
That's creepy. That like, kind of creeps me out.
Yeah, but then you also have like the headlights. So like, does it have then like 2 sets of eyes?
Ooh.
Maybe like all the lights that would be on an ambulance are its eyes. So it's got like, I don't know, 16 eyes or something like that.
Well, and I wonder if like the different colors, if like each different eye can see like a different part of the spectrum, and that's why they're different colors.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't know if that's how eyes work. Ophthalmologists don't respond.
It doesn't have to be factual for a monster.
Exactly.
So this could be just like with the Predator, where it has like the ability to see like body heat and like I don't know what the
Mm-hmm.
other ones are like, but this one it's I don't know the different like reds and yellows and
Yeah.
whites and
It's
blues
like
and stuff like that.
that shrimp that can see all of the things.
I have not heard of the shrimp that can see all of the things.
There's some shrimp, I forget which one it is. It's not the mantis shrimp, but it's one of them. Can see like literally like hundreds or thousands of times more colors than we can.
Oh, that's wild. I'm just looking at it for the first time and like that is
Mm-hmm.
something that would be on this show if I didn't know that it already existed. That's really
And
cool.
like, what do they
No,
need to
I
see all
didn't know
those
that.
colors for? They're in the ocean. There's like
Well,
two colors,
to
black and blue.
they need to see each other.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Do you think that this monster would be able to speak?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think that I think it like howls.
that would make sense if it's like trying to be an ambulance.
Mhm.
It would just be like, a woo as it goes down the street.
Yeah, it's like when dogs hear ambulances and then start howling along with them. That's what it does.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a pretty cool idea. I kind of like the idea of it being like able to be like pull over or something like that, but I don't
Mm.
think that it would like. That's more of a if we were doing this as a police car.
Yeah, I wonder if it. Yeah, I guess ambulances don't have any. They
Yeah,
don't
I
do
don't
that.
think they have that. Yeah, yeah. Do you think it would be furry, feathered, or fleshy?
Oh, oh, the word fleshy is just gross. Um,
You are not the first
I
person to tell me that.
I think it would be furry, and like maybe I'm just leaning too hard into the whole cat bus thing, but like I think that it would be slightly furry, but I think that it's the kind of fur that like um oh, or maybe it's feathered. Actually, I think it's feathered because I
Ooh.
have a good reason for this.
Okay.
It's covered in the same sort of feathers that like ducks have that are like
Uh huh.
oily that
Yep.
way, and like that's what causes it to like, because you know how vehicles like shine or like reflect
Oh
light,
yeah.
so that's what causes it to do that, is that it has these like oiled feathers. Oh, and so maybe,
That's ooh.
yeah, maybe it like stays in the water and that's why nobody can find it like
Oh,
outside
that's
of
so
when it's
creepy.
hunting.
Yeah, like it just
Ugh.
like you'll just if you're sitting over by the lake one night, like you'll just suddenly see like an ambulance like pulling up out of the water, like
Oh,
just nobody's in it, just
I'm like actively cringing. This is genuinely very spooky.
yeah, all of its eyes are like blinking and stuff like that, and
Oh,
just looks like yeah.
oh, I'm too scared for this.
um, let's see. Well, speaking of that, what do you think it's scared of?
Oh,
What would frighten
I
the ambulance monster?
I honestly I think that it might be scared of actual ambulances.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz I think like
Hmm.
to to people who don't like you would know that it's not an ambulance if you looked at it like if you looked at the two of them side by side, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so I think that it struggles to fit in with other ambulances. Like it's not very good camouflage when it's around other ambulances. So like that's the only time that other people would notice, "Hey, I think this thing is a monster and not an actual ambulance."
Yeah.
Um so I think that it is, yeah, maybe not like scared of them, but it tries to stay away from them.
Right, right. Because it like I was thinking too that it could be something like how humans react to like robots if they're like too uncannily
Oh,
like
yeah, the like
similar like
uncanny valley.
yeah, so like maybe it like reacts in such a way like maybe this thing was around before ambulances and like
Oh,
through sheer coincidence this is what ambulances are designed like. So now
oh,
anytime it comes to the surface, it sees an ambulance and it's just like, "Whoa,
that's
that's
freaky.
disgusting."
Yeah, I like that.
All right, sweet. What do you think we should call this guy?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I like this might be a fun one to have like an onomatopoeia name where it's called
that sounds great.
the I don't want to call it like the woo woo because that's a little the ooh woo.
The ooh woo. Oh no. That's the secret origins of that phrase as well. It dates back to before history. It's prehistoric. That's amazing. The ooh woo.
You're welcome.
Thank you. There we go.
Oh, but it's ooh woo with O's and not U's, so it's like OOWOO.
OOWOO. Okay, I've written that down. Sweet. It is official.
Perfect.
The monster is called the ooh woo. Do we have anything that we need to add to this? Does it have any like supernatural powers or any kind of like weaknesses that?
I think the only question that I still have about it is how does it move? Does it
that's
have
a good question.
wheels? Does it have feet? I don't know.
I think that maybe in place of like, where the wheels would be on a normal ambulance, maybe it just has like these serpentine like things that just kind of roll around in a similar manner to tires. Like just sticking on to like its leg bone. Like somehow it's connected, but like it just kind of rolls back and forth using like these like slick tentacular, I don't know what to call them.
Slick
extremities.
Tentacular is like the best combination of adjectives I have ever heard. It is perfect.
Slick tentacular. I'm just gonna write that down really quick because I'm gonna forget about it.
It sounds like something that would be like if Lin-Manuel Miranda tried to write like a Lovecraft-inspired musical, Slick Tentacular would be a series of words in something that he wrote.
I could see that too. Slick tentacular.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't give him any ideas. He doesn't need any more musicals.
No. Lin-Manuel Miranda, if you make this into a musical, I would appreciate if you hit me up because I could use a couple bucks. All right, and then what else did? Oh, hi, cat. Okay, yeah, just gonna hit the microphone cord with your tail. Got it. Sounds good.
That's what cats do.
They really do. Especially this one. Now he's gotten comfortable on the desk, and so he's just rubbing his face on my notebook and hitting his tail on everything. He's trying to sip my tea. Like
amazing.
No. But back on topic. So was there another thing that you asked about that, or was it just like how does it move?
I think it was just the feet thing.
Okay. Do we have anything else we need to add?
I like to think that its mouth is on the side of its body, and so it like opens the door and like that's it, so it like eats people from the side like an ambulance would.
Oh wow, that's really an interesting idea. Like just that it excuse me. Okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Excuse me, sir. Come here.
I am the last person that you ever have to apologize about cats to.
I was going to say, if anybody would know, it's you. Okay, I've got him down for now. What were we saying? Oh, so it opens the mouth on the side. Mm-hmm. Are you talking about like the front door, or are you talking about like the back door kind of thing?
Oh, do like ambulances not have? I don't know why I'm imagining them like minivans.
Oh. The ones maybe that's a thing like out there.
So in my defense, I have never, knock on wood, I have never been in an ambulance. I have never had to call an ambulance for someone else. So I don't really know how they work.
I feel like there are some where they do kind of have that, but the ones that I'm looking at, or the ones I've seen anyway, it seems like they have like some.
Yeah, it's like mostly the
like utilities. Yeah, utilities on the side. It looks like some like drawers that you could probably pull out for I don't know what, like emergency medical kits or something.
Okay, so maybe this is like the situation with this creature is that it's similar to like I don't know if there are any actual real life animals like this, but I know that there are Pokemon like this, where what you think of as the front of it is not the front of it, and it does that to like trick you. And so maybe like
Oh,
the front where all the lights are and like the face, you'd think, oh, that's where it's gonna eat me from. No, just
yeah.
kidding, the mouth is on the back.
That would be really cool. Like, I think that would make a lot of sense too with the lights, like at the top,
Mm-hmm.
like on the back and stuff
Oh
like that. I
yeah.
just sent you a picture because I found one that has like a door on the side, and it makes sense because it's like the medical entrance and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I love that idea of just like the mouth being on the back and like it moving backward or like backing up is actually moving forward. So like the bumper
Oh,
is actually kind of like where its chin would be, I guess.
gross.
Um, yeah. That's really cool for like an off the cuff kind of thing that we just kind of were like, hey, you want to just make a ambulance and just
Yeah,
eat
this
people?
this creature is like actually terrifying.
It can sneak up on you from anywhere, and also you would hear it coming though.
You'll never expect the uwu.
The uwu is coming for you, Woo.
Ron, I just took a drink of tea.
I did too. So we kind of discussed Lovecraft a little bit earlier, you know, as you said that you love to read horror, you love to like enjoy the spooky stuff, but you don't like to actually like see
Yeah.
the spooky stuff. But like I also imagine that again, being from like the Appalachian kind of region, that there's like a lot of like stories and stuff about like hauntings and
Yeah.
all kinds of like cursed stuff. What's the most haunted room you've ever entered?
The most haunted room. Ooh, I actually have a perfect answer for this. So
Ooh.
I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, which I know this is a cryptid show. I don't know if is that illegal for me to say?
No, that's fine.
So
I'm
like
not going to be mad.
like there's not a lot of like personal dwellings that I have been in that I'm like, "Oh, I can sense the presence of, this old lady who used to live here." But the town that I am from has a big old prison on it
Ooh.
that literally, and like I couldn't make this shit up if I tried, literally, this giant prison that looks like a castle was built directly across the street from a Native American burial mound.
Oh my lord! Of course it would be set up there.
And
Jeez.
so, like, first of all, what a shitty thing to do. Second of all, it's like you're asking for like a horror story to happen here.
Yeah, you're literally begging for it at that
Yeah.
point. Like, hey,
So this prison that looks like a castle did have an electric chair in use in it at one point. And there were
Wow.
several people executed there. And also this prison was known to be not a great place, as most prisons are.
Yeah.
Maybe we should, like get rid of them or something.
Yeah, probably. I think that would make the most sense.
Yes. So, and we did tours of that. Like it was literally like right down the street from my middle school and like right up the street from my high school, because small town in West Virginia, everything is within walking distance. And so like we did tours and things, and they also have like haunted houses and like escape room style things in it, which is a little morbid. Oh yeah, this is not in use anymore. It closed down in like the 80s, I think.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I just realized I did not make that clear. But no, so they do tours, they do escape rooms, they do haunted houses, and like it does feel very eerie, but I don't know how much of that is because of ghosts and how much of that is because of being surrounded by walls that, it show a lot of like human suffering and our prison industrial complex. And oh boy, this got real sad.
No, we're all abolitionists here. I think. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
And if you're not, then maybe you should sit down and consider that a little
just
bit.
think about what our prison system is for and what it does and how maybe there are better ways to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really you don't have to think about it that hard really. There's other places where they do it much better.
Anyway.
But no, I can understand why that would be like the most haunted place that you've ever been to because there's got to be so many like even if you don't believe in ghosts, there's got to be like so much energy and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like in there that just like, ugh.
Yep.
Ah, damn, the Monstermatic is jammed. Well, while I'm taking a little bit of time to reset the Monstermatic 5000, I would like to take a moment to promote our Patreon. Financial support is integral to the success of our show, and it costs a lot to feed these little beasties, as well as my pets. There are several tiers, perfect for any level of support. For $1 a month, you can join our community at the Mothman's Roommate tier. You'll receive ad-free versions of the show, a special role on our Discord server, and a warm, fuzzy feeling in your belly that is definitely not a parasitic creature invented by one of our guests. For supporting the show at the $3 level, you will have surpassed some of the greatest cryptids of all time. The More Like the Loch Best Monster tier includes everything from the $1 tier, as well as early access to episodes and a shout-out at the end of the show. Finally, if you elect to become an incomprehensible cosmic abomination for $5 a month, you will receive all of the aforementioned benefits, as well as access to the secret palettes that determine which monsters will get their own stat sheets in games like Dungeons & Dragons, Monster of the Week, and Pathfinder. We'll even let you name a creature in a future episode featuring prompts from our patrons. Remember, you can join in the fun by going to patreon.com/justalilguy and pledging your support. That's Lil, as in little, if the letters T and E never existed. Well, it sounds like the Monstermatic is up and running, so let's get back to the show. And rip. Okay, so the Monstermatic 5000 says that this monster inhabits a library, creeping in between the shelves, inhabiting every page. Apparently, it really likes the word inhabit. What do you think it looks like?
So it inhabits the library and the pages.
Every page.
I think that it's a dust monster.
A dust monster. I'd never thought about that.
See, now I feel like this show is just revealing all of my like pop culture influences, because literally what I'm thinking of is, I guess, like the Vashta Nerada from Doctor Who that is literally in a library.
Oh, I was like, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
And I can't think of why.
Except I always want to call it the Vashta Neruda because of Pablo Neruda. You're welcome.
Well, now I'm just going to be thinking about that the whole time. Anytime I go back and watch that one.
But
That's
yeah, well,
one,
I guess the Vashta Nerada is more like darkness rather than dust.
That's true, because that's the one that turns them into like skeletons while they're in their space.
Yeah, because it like eats.
Spoiler alert for a show that's like 20 years old, by the way.
But yeah, I think that this would be dust because it, it fills the room and you can only see it when, in the like rays of sunshine from the windows, but it's also in the books.
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. And then it would probably attack people by like when you open the book or close the book, you're just moving dust around. So it would be all like, I'm inside of you, inhabiting your skin cells, and now you're very dry, and now you're dead.
Yeah, like I think it would be like a slow attack type thing. Like it would be like a slow kind of flesh eating. Like it would eat your flesh from the inside out.
Yeah, I think that sounds really cool. Like it's like I guess it's like a flesh eating bacteria almost, but not really, because I don't think the bacteria is on dust. But I'm not also a person who would know that.
I don't know. I mean, dust from a microscopic point of view is pretty big. And bacteria are pretty small. That's
also true. I did have a friend who contracted flesh-eating virus at one point.
Oh, yikes.
And it sounded very not fun. I don't know why I brought that up.
We can dedicate this one to your friend.
This one goes out to Harry. Harry, you're not listening to this one, but that's okay because this one's for you. I also haven't spoken to him in years, so.
Well, maybe one day he'll find it and
Yeah,
be
one
like,
day he'll
wow,
find it.
wow, that's for me.
Wow. So let's see. So it goes. It inhabits also your body, and then like basically eats the flesh from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else can we add to it? If you looked at it under a microscope, what do you think it would look like?
I think it would be really cute. I think it would be, you know, the little. Have you seen Spirited Away?
I have.
The little dust guys, the little like coal dust puffy guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think
The
it would
ones
look
that-
like
yeah.
them. I think it would be a little puffball with giant eyes. Actually, it probably doesn't have any eyes because it's microscopic. So it would be a little
Oh.
puffball, but I think it would be made of teeth.
Oh, that's so brutal.
What? It
I
has
love
to
that
eat
idea.
a lot, and if
It
it's
does.
covered in teeth, then it can eat from all sides at once.
Yeah, it's just like constantly moving cacophony of just dental atrocities.
Constantly moving cacophony of dental atrocities.
Yep.
I love that.
I'm gonna try to remember it, but I can't make any promises.
Well, it's in a recording, so we'll always have it.
That's true. That's true. It is literally recorded. How do you think it became this way?
Oh, what a good question. How did it become this way?
Yeah.
I think it is one of those things that came from like underground or like from the like permafrost or whatever, and so as you know, humans have inhabited the planet and done certain things to it that may cause ice to melt, like when it gets, you know, like warmer out.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, hard to say. But I think that like as we have like excavated the ground and also like caused the permafrost to become no longer permafrost, I think that it like escaped out of. Ooh, no, even better. I think it came from the volcanic vents in the ocean.
Ooh.
I don't know how it
that's
got out of the
interesting.
ocean, but
Perhaps it was on. Okay, what would you call Jacques Cousteau? I guess he would be like an adventurer, an explorer, or something to
Yeah.
that effect, right?
yeah.
So perhaps somebody went down exploring and found an ancient, like, underwater crypt or something like that. Something from a society long lost to time, but somehow had perfectly water sealed, like, tombs.
Yes.
And they went inside to explore it, opened a book, and they just got covered with these mites.
Perfect.
Because their secondary source of food is paper.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
I
he
love
just brought
it.
it back with him.
Uh-huh. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because they eat you slowly, so you wouldn't necessarily know that you're infected when this is it all feels a little too real, where like you don't know that you're infected for a while, and then suddenly your lungs don't work anymore.
Yeah, you're just like standing around. You're like, oh man, I don't remember getting this scratch on me, but I guess
Yeah.
it does happen. As an explorer, and then as time goes on, you start like getting weird, like your eyes start to get like this red tint to them, and you're like, I don't, I've heard the phrase rose-colored glasses before, but this is ridiculous. And then you start coughing up blood, and you're like, oh no, actually this is bad. And then you die.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just
Yep. That is the medically the perfect terminology for how this proceeds.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a doctor or nothing, but that's the way I seen it in my brain just now. So, uh, does it have any weaknesses?
Does it have any weaknesses? I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what is good against dust. But like honestly, I feel like a lot of the time with dust, we just sort of like move it from one place to another. You know, like we
Yeah, that's
vacuum it
true.
up and then throw away the stuff out of the vacuum, or we dust it away and it ends up on the feather duster, and like,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
just inhabits something else entirely.
So I guess like fire, like the only way to really get rid of it is to burn it, but also
Yeah.
burning it, like if you don't get all of it, the heat just takes it away and floats it somewhere else, you know?
Right. So you kind of have to like get it in a vacuum first and then burn it.
So you have to burn it in space.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You have to intentionally sabotage a rocket ship to just like destroy these things.
Yeah. Honestly, where is that movie?
Yeah. I mean, we just have to hire Elon Musk and he'll do it all on his own, not even
Amazing.
intentionally, you know.
I feel like there's an Elon Musk joke to make here, but like he's enough of a joke on his own, so.
He is berserkist to the entire internet. Oh. All right, do we have anything else that we need to add to this guy?
I don't think so.
Gotta find him a name.
Oh, a name.
Mm.
Dirty Harry.
Oh, that's a good one. I was gonna say something like Dusty.
Could be
something or
Dusty
other,
Harry.
but-
That way it's not like a
Dusty
direct
Harry.
ripoff.
Yeah. And plus, there is like, I mean, in what the hell was it? The Stand. They called the virus Captain Trips, right? So yeah, I could
Yes.
see him giving him some kind of like cutesy little nickname like
Yeah.
Dusty Harry.
Dusty Harry.
Because
This
maybe
one's
it was
for
the
you,
British
Harry.
that found it first. Yeah, there you brought it full circle. I love that. That's great. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for that guy.
Perfect.
We know his powers, we know his weakness, we know what he looks like, we know where it comes from.
I love that so far we've come up with an ambulance and a tiny mote of dust.
Yes. The two scariest things in the world. And they could definitely work together. Because, you get the Dusty Harry in your lungs or whatever, and you go for an ambulance, and then all of a sudden you're down at the bottom of the sea.
Out of the frying pan into the ambulance monster.
Into the ambulance monster's stomach, the way it's supposed to go, because you shouldn't eat people raw. Okay, well, I guess let's turn to the Monstermatic 5000 for our last little thing. Okay, I'm gonna pretend like I'm just making short, conversation here as this is, printing out.
It sounded
so,
your like printing out song sounded a little bit like the Amanda Show intro.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and check that out sometime. It's been at least 20 years since I saw that. Oh, by the way, what kind of tea are you drinking today?
Oh, I am drinking Earl Grey with honey in it because
What?
listen, I mean, it's the best way. It's simple, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's good.
No, I agree completely. I wasn't a fan of honey for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, but I just suddenly started doing it one day, and yeah, it works out pretty good. Oh, and it's done. And rip. Okay. So kind of our last question in this little interview series before we get started on the last monster. There's this type of story, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly because it's Japanese, I think, but it's called isekai. It's a type of story which involves falling through a portal into a world of fantasy or sci-fi. If you were to find yourself in such a story, what kind of world would you hope to find yourself in?
What would I hope to find myself in?
Hope, dread, whatever you decide to pick.
Well, because see, hope would be I don't know, like very similar to this one, but fewer people, and also everything is fundamentally different.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Oh, well, I would want to go to like a Miyazaki world, like somewhere that is
Mhm.
beautiful and like pastoral without the like weird creepy sort of pastoral vibes that you get with like American literature. Um yeah, so I think that's like genuinely what I would love. Like I don't know if you saw, I mean this is also just for you and probably to cut out, but my computer background is a frame from Spirited Away from when she's on the train and just like looking out over this like flooded
Oh
countryside essentially.
yeah.
And
No,
that's
I
just
could see
like
that now.
exact perfect vibes. Like I want to live on a tiny little house on a tiny little island in the middle of a flooded, field. That's what I want.
Yeah. No, of
No
course you're
people
on
for
your own little
miles.
island. Yes. That's kind of been a dream of mine for a long time as well. My parents have always been like, "Oh, if we could just live in a field with like nobody else around for
Hmm.
miles, then you could just like be as loud as you wanted to."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That's true. I would actually like that. I don't count myself as a very loud person, but boy howdy, sometimes I sure do want to be."
Well, and like something that I tell my partner all the time, anytime that I'm complaining about other human beings, is like
Mhm.
my dream is to live in I don't know, Ron, if you have ever been to like the absolute southern part of West Virginia or like the absolute eastern part of Kentucky, like that sort of like the heart of Appalachia. I don't know if you've ever
S
been through there.
sadly, I have not been through there.
So
It's a trek I need to make.
the fun thing about that area is that the hills there are so like close together. Like you'll be in a valley and there will be say like a tiny little coal town that has a like train that passes through it that carries the coal to and from. And literally you will have like the train tracks and on either side of the train tracks, like literal feet from the rails will be steep hills. And so you will be like stuck and it's a very like claustrophobic kind of feeling to just be like nestled in these hills, but I love it. I want to be stuck in these hollers. I want to be hugged by the hills. That is what I want. So I want to be alone
Yeah.
in the hills.
There you go. I mean, that sounds like it would be wonderful, actually.
I mean, a little
Um,
spooky, but
a little bit. I mean, especially in that area, I've heard stuff about like haints and stuff
yep.
like that. I think that following you, like, I just got a whole bunch of other influencers like on my TikTok who are like, "Hey, I do this thing where I drop like pebbles on my doorstep every night, so this thing will like count them and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that."
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, this is
but that sounds like it'd be fun.
my shout out for Old Gods of Appalachia. Everyone should listen to that show. It is very good.
Hmm.
It feels like home, and I love it. But it's also very spooky if you're into spooky stuff.
Oh yes, I started listening to that like not that long ago. It's I highly recommend it as well.
So good.
Indeed, very very good. Okay. Um. Oh hey, look at this! I still got that sheet from the Monstermatic 5000. Uh so the last thing that we got here is actually a note from Star, who was the previous guest,
Oh no.
and she has chosen the name for the last monster, and that is Smorgle.
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 Smorgle. I think that Smorgle would be well, so of course where my brain first went as far as like word association was Smeagol from The Lord of the
Mm-hmm.
Rings. And so we get that he's, creepy little guy, skin and bones, just a real fucking creep. Um,
Yes.
but I think that that's too easy. And so I think we should maybe try to push past that and get to something better.
Yes, we need to differentiate Smeagol from his cousin Smorgle.
Yeah. Okay, so Smeagol versus Smorgle. It's just like Smeagol, only more. It's fucking turned up to 11 because it's even more. So,
Oh no.
I think that he is. I think he's like an orb. I think he is a very round boy.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
Sign me up.
very round. And. Okay, that's as far as I've gotten.
Uncomfortably muscular.
Yes. He's round, he's buff. He's like, in my head, he's like the buff baby from Adventure Time.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
equally like doesn't wear a lot of clothes, but I think that he might have more hair. I think he has like a really hairy back.
Oh, okay.
And what sort of hair?
That's a good question. What kind of hairstyle would somebody like Smorgle have? Well, since Smeagol is like, balding, his hair is like kind of thin and, because he's been dwelling in a cave for however long.
Yeah.
Maybe Smorgle has like full luscious head of hair.
Yes. Yes.
But
Like
it's
a
also
beautiful, yeah, like a beautiful, thick hair. He probably gets like sticks and shit in there all the time. So it's sort of like a brambly mess. But yeah, like just a built guy.
But exceedingly round.
Yes. Oh yeah, he's one of like like champion like weightlifters, how they're like
Yeah.
incredibly like barrel chested, like their entire upper body is just muscle and it's like dense. I feel like that's what he looks like.
I could totally see that as well.
Like it's just
I
the
have no
mountain
trouble
from Game
picturing
of
that.
Thrones.
Oh yeah, that's true. But he has hair.
Yeah.
And like is slightly like Smeagol.
Yeah, I think that he definitely like still talks very Smeagol-esque. Definitely like talks in the third person. But I think instead of having like a high whiny voice, he has like a low
Smorgle
Yes.
loves precious.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
Something to that effect. Yes.
What else?
Where do you think he would be native to? Is it from our world or somewhere else?
I think that No, I think that he is also from like the Lord of the Rings universe, but he lives in like the only parts of Middle-earth that are like not bad. Like he lives in the parts of Middle-earth that like didn't experience any of the wars. Like he's just like chilling by himself in some lonely mountains, not the actual literal lonely mountain. Just by himself. I don't think that he has like ever laid eyes on an elf or a hobbit or anything.
I gotcha. So he would be like afraid probably of anything that was not Smorgle. Or maybe not afraid, but like might treat it with disgust.
Yeah. Yeah, I think very like, what are you? Oh, I think he also has a Russian accent.
It has a what? I'm sorry.
A Russian accent. I don't know why. In my head now
yeah.
he's Russian.
What are you? That's not really Russian. Don't sue me, Russia. No, I could see that. Smorgle, he's
I guess what I'm getting at is maybe
related
he's like
to
a
Smeagol.
lumberjack.
Okay, I like that idea. Is that maybe his final form? He just pulls out an axe and like starts going wild on it.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a friendly but imposing lumberjack. A
gotcha.
small, round lumberjack.
Oh, what about since we got to make him a little bit monstrous? He can't just be handsome lumberjack guy.
Are you sure?
I mean, maybe he could just be a weird dude who lives in the mountains, I guess. What if his arms have like blades on the outside of them? So like he does a karate chop, but it's a literal karate chop.
Yes.
Yeah, because he doesn't need no tools or anything like that.
Yes.
When do you think he shows up? Like, when would he show up to like the rest of us? If ever, I guess.
Are we talking like what time does he come out, or like when in history?
Kind of like, I guess, so the Mothman, you know, he shows up whenever anything bad's gonna happen.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know, when would he make an appearance, like in terms of like, you know, like bad shit's gonna happen when he shows up or something. I don't know, like what motivates him to come out.
He is like the Lorax in that he comes out to defend the trees. I know he is also a lumberjack, but like he's a responsible lumberjack. And so I think he's very much like a forest spirit, where he will come out if he sees people logging, deforesting. He's gonna come out, rip them to shreds with his, you know, blade arms,
Mm-hmm.
and then probably eat them. I think he eats people for sure.
Oh, so he's a cannibal as well. Well, maybe not a cannibal, but
well, he has to get protein, you know.
that is true. And if you're being a true forest like spirit, you probably don't kill the deer.
Yeah. He definitely eats bears, but he doesn't eat deer.
Does he only target other carnivores, you think?
Oh, yep, that's perfect.
Do you think he has wings?
I don't think so. But
No wings?
I think he has big webbed feet, so I think he's probably good at swimming and like running.
What does he do for fun?
What do any monsters do for fun?
You know, play. You know, I imagine that the uwu, I imagine when it's like in a dormant state, it likes to go out with all the other uwus and like roll around, do barrel rolls underwater.
Do they?
You know?
Do they have like herd behavior? They gallop
I
together.
don't know. The fire truck must wait its turn.
Yes. I think that Smorgle probably. I think that he's a trickster. I think that what he does for fun is he like fucks up trails, like walking trails and stuff, and so like people get lost.
I like that idea because then he will go and eat them.
Yes.
What do you think his power would be, like aside from having, you know, sharp arms?
Yeah, I think definitely like super strength. Because he's a muscly boy, but I think it's, you know, like even more than you would expect. I think he can hold his breath for an infinite amount of time. Maybe not infinite, but like he can hold his breath for like several hours.
Several hours. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
So, you know, Smeagol, again, spoiler alert for something that's been around for literally decades at this point. Smeagol falls into a volcano at the end of the Lord of the Rings, right? Would he be like, I don't know, fireproof, lava proof? You think maybe he's got like some really serious like scalage happening?
Ooh. I didn't even think about that. I think that is a good idea. Yeah, that so like his back is covered in hair, but his front is very like scaly, and he has really scaly like arms.
Yeah.
To withstand fire.
Yeah.
So if you're going to fight him, shoot a fire arrow into his back.
Yes, because then the hair will catch on fire.
Uh-huh. It's the only part of him that's flammable. That and his like luscious head hair.
And the hair. Yes.
His one weakness. He's like Samson.
Yes, I was just about to say the same thing. Oh no. Okay, I like that idea. Do we think he only has 2 eyes?
Yes.
Are his teeth sharp, flat, or does he have no teeth at all?
I think he has very, like, uncannily human teeth. Because, like, yeah, he does need to, like, rip into flesh when he eats humans. But I think he's an omnivore, you know? Like, he eats plants and stuff, but he also needs those incisors.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Need to be able to rend the flesh, if you will.
No, thank you.
All right. Do we think there's anything else we need to add to this? I forgot his name already.
Smorgle?
Smorgle. Anything else we need to add to Smorgle?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think of like other like Smeagol related information and if there's anything else we need to cover, but I don't think there is. I think that he's pretty complete.
Yeah. I think the only other thing I would add is like Smeagol kind of walks like a chimpanzee almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's basically on all fours. Do you think that Smorgle would do the same thing?
No, I think that's beneath him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big strong boy. He does not skip leg day.
Ah, yes. Fair point. Fair point. Okay, so he walks upright, whereas his cousin does not.
I think he can. Like, I think he can run quadrupedally, but I think for the most part, he's going to be on two legs.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying to think about. Like, it's just it brings me back to the Shia LaBeouf song from like way back when he's chasing you through the forest. Hey, look at there! It's Smorgle the guy.
Smorgle the guy. Fuck yes.
Yeah, it's great when your descriptor is the guy.
Uh-huh.
You know. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that's it for Smorgle. And as such, I think that's it for this episode. So thank you so much for being here, Zoe.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime. Would you like to promote anything in this space here? This is the plug zone.
Zone.
The plug zone.
That sounds like a fire hazard.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you can find me on YouTube at Zoe Bee. Just search Zoe Bee, like the insect, and you'll find me. What else? I have a podcast that I do where I talk about silly kids books, the Warrior Cat series. We are the only Warrior Cats podcast, and you can find us on all the same places. You know, you're listening to this podcast in the same app. Find the other podcast. Listen to both of them. That's it.
Yeah, you obviously know how to find the search bar, so go and search for it, for crying out loud. God damn. I gotta do everything for you. The link's in the description as well.
Yeah, you gotta bully your fans. That's how you get them to to listen to you.
Hey, look, from what I've heard, that's how you get them to send you money. So maybe I shouldn't have gone to that Twitch influencer seminar the other day, though.
Christ.
All right. Well, thank you again, Zoe, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and we will see you guys next week. Talk to you later. Bye. Thank you for listening to Just a Little Guy. If you'd like to help support the podcast, please leave a review on your podcast app of choice so that it will be recommended to other listeners like yourself. If you'd like to support us monetarily, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/justalittleguy. That's Lil, like an even shorter version of Lily. Special thanks goes out to our favorite incomprehensible cosmic abomination, Taru Tikkanen. My gratitude for your support is fathomless, like the depths of the Mariana Trench. For more information on our guests, be sure to take a look at the links in the description, and please remember to subscribe so that you won't miss any of our new monstrous creations. Until next time, remember to be slick tentacular to one another, and beware the uwu.